Well, welcome to our February edition of Let's Get Growing. And remember, even though the weather's going up and down, there's plenty to do in the landscape. You're going to mow or spray your winter weeds. Don't let them go to seed. And remember to bag it, but put it into the compost pile. Mulch all bare soil in all the beds, and then cut off the perennial dead heads and add them to the compost pile unless they were diseased last year. And then I want you to remove that top layer of mulch in your beds and put it on a piece of plastic and put it to the side. Now you can add your compost to your beds. Then we're going to take that mulch we've saved on the plastic and put it back into the bed, and now you have beds that are ready to go. Continue major pruning of trees. Remember, that's dead and diseased wood. Anything that's crossing and rubbing, because that causes a bare spot where insects and disease can get in. And the next thing would be to open up the canopy. But if you have to get off the ground with a chainsaw, then you need a professional. And remember to cut all those roses back by February 22nd, but all the ground covers by February 15th. One thing to remember though is add all that to our compost pile, because it's just going to become food for our whole lawn and bed areas. Last but not least, remember, we've got to feed the birds. Well, today we're going to show you how to get airplanes from the airplane plants. That's how they got their name. But this is our stock plant for the greenhouse. And as you can see, when they send out these runners, they've got these little babies. And on the bottom of each one are roots. And this is a type of Jew, usually called Moses in the boat. And you can see that it grows really close together, so it makes a beautiful plant. Now, if you give it a little bit of sun, it'll elongate. I mean, not enough sun, it'll elongate. So this has been grown in full sun, but you can see how crammed full it is. So, in the interest of the health of this plant, we're going to go ahead and make some cuttings. Now, you can see when I pull this off, I'm having a little bit of trouble because it's already started to root. So we now can also see the root initiation, these little green spots where they're trying to initiate root growth. So all you have to do is, and it doesn't even need a root, is just, we've got our potting soil and it's moistened. And so we just make a hole and then make sure we get the root in there, and then we just firm the soil around it. The most important thing is to make sure that it's stable in its environment, that it's not moving around. Okay, as you can see, this little airplane off this airplane plant has many roots. And we're going to start out by just removing this, and then we're going to cut them individually. We don't need this long stem. And then, as you can see right here, the roots are kind of entangled with this stem, so we're going to cut close here. And now we have 3 viable plants. Now, sometimes it'll be a little bit hard for you to distinguish how to plant it, but as you can see, it becomes quite clear once you cleaned it up. Now then, once again, we're just going to take the moistened soil, make a deep crevice hole. See how I put the roots in? Let's do that again. Crevice and roots down, top up, and then firm the soil. Gently but firmly. Don't cram it in like it's concrete. We want to gently pack. But what did I tell you? It needs to be stable. and we can tell that's quite stable. Now then, just kind of comb them up so that they cooperate. If they don't, pull them off. Because if you put them in the soil, then they're going to rot, and then they could cause a fungus. Once again, we're making a deep crevice. We put it in, and we firm. Maybe if you have trouble rooting this way, you can also just take, let me find one that's down low enough. This looks like a perfect candidate. And we can see how it has the roots. We pull off this errant leaf, but I'm not going to pull it off the plant. I'm going to leave it on the mother plant, that's what we call them, and then you would just make a hole, put it in here, and leave it attached to the plant. Remember, I firmed it in here? But it's going to be easier for it to pull out because now it's attached to the mother plant. It'll give it a little bit of nutrients through this stem and continue to grow roots, and then you'll get more leaves, and then you just cut the stem, like sever the cord. Actually, plant these outside, airplane plants and Moses in the boat. They're perennials, and they'll come back every year for you. Well, that's a wrap on our February edition of Let's Get Growing. As you can tell, there's a lot of maintenance that needs to be done to prepare for all that growth that's coming this spring. So, let's get growing.